You suck. Get good, noob. Uninstall the game, you're trash.
These are all probably things you've heard if you've played fighting games online. Hell, it isn't just constrained to fighting games. You could apply this to any game that has a competitive aspect to it. Personally, I love fighting games. Am I a top player? Nope. I actually suck at fighting games, and you know what? Accepting said mediocrity has actually brought me to a point where I'm having way more fun with fighting games. In fact, I'm actually learning more because I'm no longer on a constant tilt, feeling like I need to prove myself. I'm at a point where, if I lose, I lose. When I win, I win. In this video, I'm going to cover some of the pitfalls newer fighting game players fall into, and the pitfalls mid-level players can fall under, and where I can, I'll give some tips on how to get past these shortcomings. Overaggression is something I struggle with and struggle with hard in fighting games. I'm an aggressive player. Part of that is because I took the wrong lessons from my friend who got me into fighters. He used Kasumi in Dead or Alive 5 to show me how you can exploit your opponent's over-reliance on aggression. Because of this, I started to look for faster, more aggressive characters. This archetype is typically known as Rushdown. Over-aggressive players are easily tilted and are basically like a berserker. Their whole game plan is rush in, get the opponent against the wall, and don't let them breathe. In 3D fighting games, it's best to use sidestepping and holds against them. In 2D fighters, zoners and command grabs are going to be incredibly helpful. Basically, breathe if you can and wait for your opportunities, and you'll see yourself improving if you're this kind of player. This is a trap a lot of newcomers are going to fall under. In fact, this is the most common issue newbies to fighting games will experience. The number of combos can be overwhelming, and the sense of being overwhelmed will make the new player hesitate. This hesitation will lead to a more passive player who's not really attacking and just sits there taking hit after hit from their opponent. The best way to break out of this issue is to find a sparring partner who will teach you some inputs for your character. You can also break out of this habit by playing some matches against the computer or by getting in the lab and learning some combo strings, or you could even look into characters with good command grabs and holds. You do you. This one is going to sound a little counterintuitive. To get better at fighting games, you have to learn the matchups and figure out how to deal with certain moves your character of choice may be weak to, and to do that, you have to experience the rest of the roster either by playing other characters or by playing countless matches against the character you're struggling against. Oftentimes as a newbie, you're going to experiment with a ton of different characters, and that's a good thing. However, if you don't settle into using just 3 to 4, you're eventually going to stagnate and be unable to advance to the next level of play at your chosen fighting game. If you're a hyper-competitive member of the FGC, you're going to care about tier lists. However, this is a bad mindset for newer players. As the newer player, you should care more about experimentation. If you care too much about tier lists, you're going to potentially ignore the character that is the ideal fit for your playstyle. I haven't personally experienced the tier list problem. The intermediate player is more likely to fall for this than the newbie, as the intermediate player is more likely to care about the competitive side of the game. They'll want to play as some of the better characters just to counter some of the higher quality players out there. To counter this issue, honestly, just make a list of things you want in a character and fiddle around. If you find a few characters you find fun, stick to them. This one kind of goes hand in hand with my first point, but this point is a little different. It can apply to anyone who plays fighting games, and it's something we're all going to struggle with at some point in our fighting game journey. Tilt is when a player loses control of their emotions for various reasons. Tilt was originally a term in poker, but it applies to fighting games heavily. If you want to see a video that covers the various stages of tilt, Gecko Squirrel has a great video on the subject. A link will be in the description for those who are interested in checking that out. Anyways, tilt is an issue I personally deal with in fighting games a lot. This is partially because fighting games are one of my stress relievers. If I'm stressed out, I'm going to want to play a fighting game, as that's a form of controlled aggression where I can be a sadistic dickhead and no one will get hurt. Except for maybe Goto.
So you want me to be your punching bag again? Sure. But then you gotta be my punching bag in any shooter games I choose. So get ready, Colin.
So how did I move past being on constant tilt? I haven't. I've merely developed better tools to prevent me from getting tilted quickly. Part of that is realizing I have way more fun talking with whoever I'm fighting with, or by engaging my Twitch chat, which is where I do the vast majority of my fighting games. So I focus on that for the most part. I also take each fight as a learning experience and to take my time with things. So chances are you suck at fighting games because you fall under one or multiples of the categories I listed in this video, and you know what? It's okay to suck at fighting games. Once you get nihilistic and realize you aren't going to be part of the 1%ers of fighters, you'll see that you can just relax and have fun while playing fighting games. Once you reach the point of just not caring, you'll actually see yourself improving in fighting games because you'll be learning more passively. Don't forget to also take breaks from fighting games. Sometimes my not playing for a while has helped me improve a lot. There's also another thing you shouldn't forget. Comment, like, and subscribe. Let me know which archetype you struggle with in fighting games. Want to see more of my fighting game content? Check out why hitboxes are gimmicks, or check out my feature that will make fighting games easier. Until next time, keep blazing that trail.